dude, I'm just gonna break my lease or something. I'm out of here. I'm tired of this. Coincidence number 3, his spot where he's gonna be selling his buns downtown is literally right across the street from ours. They had like sex parties in the basement and stuff.
Welcome to the Venture into Moving podcast with your higgity host, Nate Becker. That's me.
Cheers.
This is Dan Butters, owner of Dump City Dumplings, and overall chill dude.
Oh yeah, big time.
Let's just sit around and we're gonna talk about business, talk shop a little bit, and get Santa. It's festive. It's getting near Christmas, and more importantly, it's Butters' birthday.
It sure is.
How old are you, Butters?
Well, I guess I'm 38 years old on this day of days.
I'm 38 too.
Oh yeah, baby.
Here's that. All right, so let's jump right into it. When did you start Dump City Dumplings? What year? What city? What circumstances? Did you do it by yourself, and why?
Well, we started Dump City Dumplings in Bend, Oregon in June of 2010. After like building our food cart in the wintertime.
Did you buy a used food cart?
Well, funny of you to ask.
I'm a funny guy.
Well, so at the time I had 2 business partners, Keith and Reed, and we found a guy in Springfield who would build us a food cart pretty cheap.
Springfield, Missouri?
Springfield, Oregon.
Oh, shoot.
Home of the Simpsons. And so this guy built us a food cart for a small amount of money. And turns out, once we got it back to Bend, we realized it was really very poorly done. Incredibly poorly done.
Was it full of rust?
No. It was just slapped together.
Janky.
In order to turn on the water pump, you had to just touch the battery with bare wires. So that was really nice.
All right.
And so
where'd you find all the bare wires at, and were they aggressive?
They were aggressive, and that was part of the problem.
Grizzlies.
They were coming right for us. And so our neighbor who lived across the street named Michael Weeks, he's a good boy. He came over to celebrate with us. He knew we were getting the cart on that day, and he came over and he was immediately super pissed.
Because you bought a piece of junk?
Because we bought a piece of garbage, and he was so mad at this guy. And right then he was like, I'm going to build you guys an actual food cart and you're going to pay me back.
So you didn't use the food cart you bought?
No.
What'd you do with that?
We tore it apart and repurposed a bunch of the metal and stuff.
It was that bad?
It was that bad. It was a piece of absolute garbage. So we tore it apart.
But did it, like, that was your first venture into business? And
yeah.
You bought a lemon?
Bought a lemon.
You didn't just quit?
No. We did not just quit, and the biggest reason we didn't was because Michael offered to build us an actual working food cart, which we would not exist today if it weren't for that scenario. And so me and him built our new food cart, which we still use to this day, in his backyard.
Is that Tupac?
That's Tupac.
Little Tupac.
Yeah, we built it in his backyard and started trying to figure out how to start a business. And then we also had to learn how to, make dumplings.
You know how to make a dumpling?
No.
Had you ever made a dumpling before you started the idea of Dump City Dumplings?
Kind of concurrently. They started at the same time. We figured, hey, it can't be that hard.
You made your first dumpling, you're like, I'm making a business out of this.
No. It was like, we need to make a food cart for downtown. That like started it, and then we were like, what do we want to do?
So you didn't make hot dogs? It's like what everybody wants.
That's just boring, man. We don't want hot dogs. We didn't want tacos. We didn't want any of that. We wanted something different. I lived in China for a while in college, so I like Chinese type foods, and so somehow we, I don't know, landed on the idea of making steamed buns. Then we didn't have to clean up oil or anything like that. We're just steaming stuff. It's healthier. But then we also had to figure out how to like make them and make a bunch of them. And we were real bad at it to start. That's
so
for
it was
sure.
just you and 2 other guys.
Yeah. And then some help from random friends.
rolling dumplings in your kitchen?
We did a little of that. And then
How long did it take? I mean, there's the health inspector, right? Like how do you deal with that?
Well, we started off making them in our kitchen, like before we actually went to the downtown, you know, and like giving them away to neighbors and stuff to like get an idea of how to do it. And our whole idea was it's called Class 4 food cart, which means you can do everything on the food cart. You know, all the prep.
So it's like a mobile kitchen?
It's a mobile kitchen.
Oh, sweet.
And so what we would do when we started is we would just drive the cart downtown, and like 3 hours before we started, and it's an open cart, you know, there's no walls or anything.
Making them there?
And we would like cook chicken and make that filling. We would like cook pork and stuff, make a veggie one.
That'd be horrible.
And so then it would be done and it would be hot, and then we'd be trying to roll it into dumpling dough. And the dumpling dough, we're like, we didn't have a mixer on the thing, so we were doing it all by hand.
So we're
kneading dough on the cart, and it was, and then immediately forming it into the dumplings and then steaming them. It was incredibly inefficient. It was a terrible idea.
After the first show, were you guys looking at each other like, we've made it, this is perfect?
Yeah, yes. Kind of. Yeah, we're like, it worked. Oh man, how much we make today? $25. Oh man. It was really stupid. And then eventually we realized that we also needed to have, you know, there was a business close by, a restaurant / catering company, that we got them to like sign off to be our commissary kitchen, you know, because you have to like do your dishes somewhere and stuff.
Okay.
And then eventually we were like, hey, this is how we're doing this is really stupid. So maybe we'll just make them beforehand. And they like cool the fillings.
And that kitchen let you do it there?
Yeah, and they let it
or something?
Yeah. Yeah. We paid them some rent, and we would go in a couple times a week and make everything there, then bring it out to the food cart and then steam it. And so that was a massive,
way better,
massive increase in productivity there. That was good.
Okay. Well, if you haven't seen a Dump City dumpling, explain what that is. Cause some people I'm confused a little bit. What is your style of dumpling? How do you eat it?
Yeah. They're steamed buns. And so they're hanbao, baozi. It's a Chinese style of making dumplings, and it's like a thick bread dough with the filling inside, and you steam it. So it's a pretty simple thing overall, but you can. You have sauce. Yeah, we got sauce, and so the great thing is you can just kind of put whatever you want inside of it, which we have done plenty of over the years. But it's the stuff inside of some dough, and like that's it, and then you can just kind of go from there.
So it's similar. I mean, it's grab and go. You can snatch it and eat it and be happy as a clam.
Yeah.
Dip it if you want to. How many sauces?
We usually have our 3 main sauces: teriyaki, sweet chili garlic, and coconut lime peanut. And then we always have, you know, I don't know, 2 or 3 different hot sauces, sometimes more if I went wild at the store or something. We make the 3 main ones: the teriyaki, the sweet chili, and the coconut lime peanut. Yeah. We don't make the siracha.
Yeah, man. Do they still make siracha?
They do, but
I heard sriracha's done.
No, they screwed over their pepper supplier. There's podcasts about this.
You don't screw your pepper supplier.
They screwed over the pepper supplier for like millions of dollars, and then the pepper supplier started their own hot sauce company making exactly what sriracha makes.
You know what they say?
It's better.
You know what they say? What goes around, capsa comes around. Just came up with that.
That was incredible. Dude, you should work for sriracha. Or no, the other company. Because we don't like sriracha
Heck
anymore.
with sriracha.
Yeah, all man.
Right. So you went from cooking raw chicken in an open air wet market, essentially.
Which was legal, but not ideal.
Yeah. I'm just saying you went from that to being able to have a commissary kitchen to having one food truck.
Yeah.
With what, 2-3 burners?
Yeah, it started with 2 really underpowered burners. So we switched those out to 2 bigger ones.
Just run on propane?
Yeah, just run on propane. And once we got the bigger burners, we're like, all right, this is cool. And it was working a lot better. And so we kind of went with that for a little bit. And then pretty soon we saw the need to have another cart, and we had been talking about expansion anyway, and so we ended up with our dude Michael building a second food cart, a slightly larger one.
How long did it take from? I mean, you started your business, you made your first $25, and how long did it take till you're like, all right, second food truck time?
I think it was about a year. We started talking about it about a year in, and probably started construction of that second one maybe a year and a half ish, and Michael and I built that one as well. And then we decided the good thing to do would be to expand to another city.
What city did you choose?
We chose Eugene, Oregon, because there's
It's close
college
to
town.
Oh,
You know, well, that guy, we ended up suing that guy, and he disappeared. That was great. Anyway, and we never paid him the second half of what we initially were going to owe him. And so anyway, it all worked out. But
lessons that we learned.
we decided to expand to Eugene, and that was not a good decision.
So who was your man on the streets in Eugene?
So my one business partner, Reed, kind of was the man over there, and then one of our longtime employees, who's just a buddy, Kevin. They went over to Eugene. I went over initially with them, and we were making dumplings in the back of this very strange bar downtown Eugene.
Okay. Do you remember the name of it?
I think it was Dante's.
Okay.
And they had like sex parties in the basement and stuff. It was like,
while you're cooking chicken, you're like,
Kevin's
is that P. Diddy?
Yeah, Kevin would come. He told me he would come back from late night, 3 a.m, and to like do dishes and stuff, and then like kind of wander about and hear like some weird noises and go around the corner and down the stairs, and there's like people doing some weird stuff.
Just out in, I guess it's not public, but it's
down
public.
in the basement, and it was fetish night. It was like once a month or something. Anyway, that was a whole thing.
So you went to Eugene to hang out in the fetish club and make dumplings. How'd that go for you?
So we should have known from the beginning. I went over with those two. We like rented a house, and I was to stay for like a month. But we should have known based on the first when we first arrived. There was I think it was a 4-part coincidence happened.
Okay.
So maybe
move in on this one.
Yeah. So we get there, and we get to the kitchen that we had just talked to them on the phone. And then we finally get in there to like, see the place and whatever, and figure out terms and all that. And so we get to the kitchen, and coincidence number 1, there's another guy in the kitchen starting a food cart on the same day we are.
Okay. No big deal.
Coincidence number 2, he's making steamed buns.
That's not, I mean, that's who.
Coincidence number 3, his spot where he's going to be selling his buns downtown is literally right across the street from ours. Like,
is this coincidences aren't real, are they?
This is the work of Satan or something. I don't know.
He's downstairs on fetish night. Like, I got 5 more minutes to mess with Butters. Let's do this.
Yeah, I got a good idea.
We
should have known then. But
did you still go on? Like what?
Yeah, we were just like, well, that's crazy. Okay.
So Dante's didn't tell you that, hey, by the way, there's another bro doing the exact same thing?
No. No.
Have you ever seen another steam bun cart? I might be down the line to ask that question, because I already know the answer to that one a little bit. Because I remember when I met you first, there was another steam bun cart.
That's true.
In Ben.
That's true. Yeah. No. Well, we hadn't at that point, but yeah, this guy, his was pretty cool. He had built it like classic Beijing style, where it was a bike that had like one burner on the front. And so he had this tiny little setup. He just had like a cooler and then a bike with one burner, maybe 2. And so he would steam his dumplings on the front of the bike.
And he'd keep them in a cooler somewhere?
Yeah, you'd keep them in a cooler. He'd make them back. Like, we would be making ours in the same, while he's making his, and like kind of racing to get out first. I don't know. It was.
Were you guys making them in a similar way, or did you learn like, oh, dang, that's a good way to do it from him? Or was he copying you? Or
no, I don't know.
Like
we were both stupid. We both didn't really know what we were doing. Like he had a bacon one where he just put bacon in it, but he wouldn't pre-cook the bacon, so it's just like floppy bacon. I don't know. But he was just doing his thing over
Flaccid
there.
bacon.
Yeah, and we were doing our thing over here, and it was real weird. I think we definitely learned some stuff from each other because we both weren't good at it.
So how long did it last in Eugene?
It was about 9 months, then Reed quit.
Did he quit because obviously it sucked?
Yeah, he was like, this is just not worth it. And he wasn't like fully into the idea anyway. And me and Keith were kind of more, I don't know, maybe this will work. And he was like, if this is gonna be our job, we have to like do this well. And not that we didn't want to do it well, but we were just we had a slower timeline on doing it well, you know.
And I feel like I have the same problems. So, it seems like that's a shiny thing, that it seems shiny piece of something over there that you wanted to chase. Like, ooh, Eugene, college kids are there. College kids like to eat delicious food. I make delicious food. Mm-hmm. Seems obvious, but
yeah. But it was if we did it like 3 or 4 years later, it might have been great. But it was just stupid. But it actually turned out great because once Reed quit, then we moved. Keith and I went over and picked up that food cart that was there and brought it back to Bend. Mm-hmm. And then turns out having 2 food carts in Bend was great because there's all these events and stuff. And then we could do 2 things at once.
There's like 7 things at once sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So then we started booking that one and the little one for all these events and everything. And it was great. And
did you start seeing more profits, or did you start seeing more sales with less profits, or what happened when you expanded to your second food truck? Did you just all of a sudden you're a millionaire, or how'd that work?
No, definitely not. Because the way we've been doing it is we just keep thinking of other things to do and then putting the money there.
Yeah, plowing back in.
Yeah, and like doing upgrades to the cart so that they're more efficient, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But once we had our second cart, we had the ability to do that. We could invest more. You know, like we eventually bought a really big dough mixer. And because we kept breaking the little ones,
gotcha.
Stuff like that, and like a sheeter for the dough that made it easier to roll, and then we could get more employees, so we could roll more dumplings, so we could do more events and stuff like that. So it was kind of just more room for expansion.
If you're doing so many dumplings, it seems to me like your pork dumpling. How's that? That's a lot of pork to shred.
Yeah,
for instance.
And so then we started getting like machinery to do that. So like. A grinding plate for the front of our mixer so that we could shred hundreds of pounds of cheese.
Wait, so before you had that, was there somebody just by hand shredding pork?
No, we would chop it, and that was terrible too. But once we had a big mixer,
didn't work. A lot of fingers.
We learned from like watching like barbecue shows or something. I think was how
Guy Ferrari.
About it. You just like huck a chunk of pork in like when it's straight out of the oven, and just you turn the thing on for like 30 seconds and it's shredded. It's like, whoa, man.
So you learned on the fly. It seems like
big time.
Are you a good cook on your own, or can you only make dumplings?
I've become a very good cook on my own.
Okay, you've become one.
At the time, I wasn't good at either.
You're just a dude.
I had the vision of what I wanted to make, and then I had to slowly learn how to do it, and then how to scale it up, and then how to do it efficiently, and figure out like good ways to source ingredients. And
so you're not just buying from Cisco?
Well, no.
How's that work?
It's there's I don't know, we have probably 6 or 7 major suppliers for flour and sugar and like dry mixed stuff, to veggies, to the meats, to all of the like soy sauce and stuff like that.
You got to really vet what you bring into your building, or how do you what's the process behind finding the right cheese or the right pork? Like, how do you know?
Yeah, it's
good answer.
A lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of trial and error, but also talking to people has been really very helpful. Talking to other restaurant and food cart owners about we're having the same problems with our pork. Like we were getting pork for a while from this one supplier, and it would just like go bad after like a day or two, and other people were having that same issue. So then you got to switch because
You're shipping me
there
old
was something
pork.
bad. Yeah, we're getting old pork. It's stupid.
You don't want old porky. Well, let's keep going with your timeline. So, how old were you actually when you started Dump City? I didn't even ask you that.
Oh, yeah. I was 23, 24, 24.
Because today's your birthday,
Yeah.
and you're still 24.
No, I'm 38.
Oh,
So that's right. So 14 years.
14 years. So 14 years of hustling.
Yep.
Did you think that after you made your first $25 that in 14 years you'd be Jeff Bezos rich, or what was your intention or your thoughts, or did you even think? Like I didn't think.
I didn't think.
I didn't think either.
Didn't really think. But just kind of like, well, I'm good to see what this does, you know. And it's led to a lot of different incredible things that, like, besides like being Jeff Bezos.
But you're going so you get to travel.
Yeah.
You get to go see music
A
and
lot of
shows and performances and it's kind of a crazy lifestyle as a food truck out there.
Yeah, it is.
You don't look like you've been doing it for 14 years.
It's all a scam. Yep. Well, the music festivals keep you young, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
They age you.
All right, so you got two food trucks going. You said Eugene's not going to work for me. You came back here. When did you get your third food truck?
Well, we started doing, with the second one, we got invited to do a few bigger music festivals in Oregon, and really saw the potential of those because there's, thousands of people who are trapped with you and probably didn't bring enough food for the 4 or 5 days that they're at this festival. And we could be open from, like morning to morning. We could be open 24 hours at some of them if we want. And so we really saw the potential there. So after a couple years...
Do they get hungry at music festivals?
Eventually they do. Yeah. Eventually they have to eat. But we saw the potential there. And then in 2017, we got into Lightning in a Bottle.
Lightning in a Bottle, yeah.
And we knew that there was the Oregon...
Is that Southern California?
Yes, Southern California, which is far away, further than we would want to take our little food carts. And then we also knew that the Oregon Eclipse Festival was coming up at the end of that summer. And so we're like, this is going to be the biggest thing ever. We got to build another cart. And so we got Michael on the horn and started planning it out in the wintertime and ordered a trailer that we're going to build out, right?
Okay, so you got a bear trailer?
A bear trailer.
Flatbed?
No, like
enclosed.
An enclosed, like a utility trailer. And so we ordered that. Me and Michael went around and tried to find the best one. Ordered one custom built for us, with a higher ceiling and stuff, and got it delivered in plenty of time in early December. And it turns out, instead of the doors opening on the back like this, it was like a toy hauler popped down. And so we're like, that's not going to work. What are you guys talking about?
The lines that they're walking up and on the line.
That's so dumb.
Everyone tips over.
Yeah, falling off the sides and stuff. And so we're like, that's not good. And they're like, oh, yep, you're right. Well, that's our bad. We'll get another one coming for you. And so their supplier.
Oh, really?
So they had to build another one and ship it out. But that ended up taking, like a month and a half or 2 months. And so all of a sudden we're getting close in terms of build out time to Lightning in a Bottle. And we had to convince Michael to just let us just be at his house all the time in his shop.
Please, Michael.
Please, Michael. So me and our manager, Sean, just started going nuts and we built the thing out and had a crazy summer of what would end up being our music festival seasons,
Was that the catalyst to where you are now? Because I know that you guys are in a brick and mortar. Was that what got you there? Were you in one before that?
No, we were still working out of bars. We've been in a bunch of bars in Bend, They're closed during the day. So we go in during the day and make all our stuff, make all our dumplings and everything.
And how'd you do? Did you just know that? You know that the bars are closed, so they're going to let me do stuff if I ask? Kind of how do
Not
you even
really.
think?
Keith and I frequented bars a bit more during that time period.
I've actually never been to one.
Yeah, you'll love it. But also we were open, downtown late night, and so we talked to various people. We also talked to other food carts, and where are you using, like, where's your commissary kitchen at, stuff like that. Met owners of various bars, and so just kind of like
That makes sense.
figured it out, networked through to figure out where we're going to be and everything. And then, I mean, essentially, once we started doing the music festivals, we just got too big for the
Britches.
bars.
Too big for your britches.
Way too big for our britches.
So what was your first non-bar, non-rental place?
So eventually we found a restaurant that was coming up for lease. A buddy of mine who I had played on a soccer team with.
Okay.
Intramural soccer. He was the goalie.
You never know who you're going to meet that's going to change your life.
big time. He was the goalie, and we were just on the same soccer team, and he would go into this restaurant in the Old Mill District in Bend all the time. He was good friends with the owner, and the owner was tired of it. He was done. And they had a conversation one day where the owner was like, dude, I'm just going to break my lease or something. I'm out of here. I'm tired of this. I got another opportunity, whatever. And dude called me 10 minutes after their conversation and was like, yo, you guys should get down here right now. Because he knew we were looking, and he was a realtor.
Oh, perfect.
And so we just went down and figured out everything to get into our first restaurant space. And then we had to figure out how to run a restaurant.
Well,
turns out different than food carts, not easy.
I've heard that there's a lot of failure going on in restaurants.
Yeah.
Did you fail at that restaurant? I know you're not there anymore, right? You're not at that restaurant.
No. Yeah, we've moved on to a better location.
Did you do it because you had to or because you wanted? Like, why?
Well, we wanted a restaurant so that we'd have our own space so that we could support the food carts.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's been something that's really helped us with the restaurant part of it, is that we are actually able to have, a separate source of income rather than just hoping people walk in the door to eat at the restaurant.
Yeah.
So we have, most of our back of house stuff is like dedicated to producing stuff for the food carts.
Do a lot of restaurants these days also have a food cart offshoot or make money that way? Because it seems like the smart way. Like, if you already have a place, you might as well get your tentacles out in a bunch of different spots.
Not too many. A decent number of them have started doing it because
it seems like the way of the future.
You see all the events that happen in Bend. You might as well, get your fingers in those pies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I often liken it to, think about like Deschutes Brewery or something. Like, yeah, they have a restaurant and a bar, whatever, a brew pub. And that's cool and everything. But where they're making their money is selling beer in the grocery store all over the country, right?
Okay, well,
wholesale.
Do you sell dumplings wholesale?
We do. We started during, got to figure out something to do during COVID.
Each dumpling's been guaranteed not coughed on.
Not even close. And so we've been talking about it for years because I've been thinking about it in that way. We already have one diversified income source. Might as well do another. And so we started selling our dumplings, frozen and packaged in a few stores during COVID, and kind of built that up a little bit.
Did you advertise?
Only really on like social media because it's only Bend local stuff.
Yeah.
And we didn't quite have the facilities to really make a lot of them. It was just like a little bit of extra to kind of dip our toes in and see how it works, and
just testing the waters.
And then another thing we did was it was a whole process, but we made it so that our sauces are shelf stable. And so they don't have to be refrigerated. They can just sit on the shelf at the grocery store like a bottle of hot sauce.
I thought it meant that the hot sauces don't fall off the shelves.
Well, they don't do that either. We got nice bottles, which is good.
So where can someone buy a hot sauce of yours? I've never seen it at the store.
They're at the store.
What?
Yeah. Right now we're at Newport Market, Local Acres, Oliver Lemons and Terrebonne, and see Lovejoy's. But I've been pushing around a little bit, and hopefully we're going to be in Sun River, Lapine, and Redmond soon. But just trying to figure that out. And then also we've been selling our sauces online because they're shelf stable, so we can ship them across the country. And another thing that happened during COVID was I got a very strange email one night.
Was it a Nigerian prince?
It was even better. It was from Guy Fieri's people.
Oh, no way. The guy with the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Food Network guy.
Flavor Town.
Oh, Flavor Town for sure.
USA, baby.
All right, yeah. Guy Fieri, he's awesome. What about him?
Well, his people emailed me at like 11 p.m. on like a Tuesday. It was a very official kind of email. I was like,
Scam.
well, this is fake.
Scam.
Yeah, this is definitely a scam. There's no possible way this is real. This is such a strange email. And so I showed everyone. Everyone's like, yeah, it's a scam. But I called him anyway. Turns out not a scam, so that's cool. And
did you call Guy himself or just like Guy's person?
no, unfortunately not. It was his producer.
This is the mayor of Flavor Town.
How'd you get this number? But I talked with them and we did like it was basically like an hour interview of me and the business and all that stuff. Yeah, on the phone. And then a couple weeks later did like a 3-hour Zoom call with them.
Was Guy on any of this?
Oh, no.
He's a busy
He's
guy.
got people, man.
He's got a Corvette or a Hummer to drive.
Exactly. Both at the same time, you know? But yeah, and it was a crazy long process to figure out how the filming steps would work so that we'd be ready when they come. And then they came and we filmed an episode of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Oh my gosh. So I've seen this episode and my kids like to turn it on. Every time it's on reruns, I get a text. Butters is on TV.
Yep.
And Lorne.
Yeah, 1 second of Lorne.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's great and it's crazy. And so luckily we had gotten the sauces shelf stable before that because once that aired, we just started getting like t-shirt, merch orders and sauce orders. And now we've shipped sauces, I'm pretty sure, to all 50 states.
So instant millionaire?
Well, people usually only get 3 at a time. So, and we haven't shipped a ton to all 50 states, but it's definitely been cool. And every time there's a rerun, we'll know that it happened because they don't tell us when there's a rerun. We'll get like a bunch of orders on the email. Will just be blown up with orders that we got to fill.
That's so epic. So it seems like you've had, I don't know, luck. Is it luck? Like how does that happen to someone? No, how does people reach out to someone in Bend, Oregon, doing something that's just dumplings?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's definitely like. I definitely feel lucky. There's definitely some luck involved. There's definitely some amount of, us getting our product out there at all the events and everything and festivals and all this stuff because I did ask the producer at one point, like, how did you find it? Like, what are you doing? And they're like, well, we're coming here to film some other stuff. We figured we might as well do some Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. And one of the producer or something's family member either lives here or visits here often and had our dumplings somewhere.
Huh. You never know if you're slanging food on the side of, at a venue, who you're going to sell to and what's that going to mean to them and then to you.
Exactly. You never know. Like, it could have been, like, who knows? Like, if I would have been having a bad day that day, they're like, "Here's your dumpling, idiot!"
You're so dumb.
Then wouldn't have been on Guy Fieri, But so I don't know. Getting the stuff into the hands of the right people / every person has been great.
Well, I mean, I got a couple of quick questions before we wrap. One is this phone's been ringing the whole time and no one's been saying anything about it.
Yeah, well, it's on.
Can I answer it?
Yeah.
Can I answer it?
Let
me see that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, hello. Gosh, you've been calling all day. Yeah, I get it.
Tell them I said I'm not done yet.
Yeah, this is actually a big one. So, quick, wondering, what was the biggest obstacle you've had to come through and overcome? Have you ever had your business taken away from you? Have you ever been shut down by the food police? What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you? Thanks.
Well,
We'll talk later.
well, we had one time our corner downtown was taken by another steamed dumpling food cart, which was really stupid.
Don't you guys have set corners?
Yeah. And
They just showed up one day?
Well, they had gotten, it's a lottery for the corners downtown, and they had gotten it, but my business partner Keith had negotiated with them that they would work during the day, and they were going to like sell noodles or something, and then we would work it at night because we had been there for years, and so it's good to be consistent, you know?
Yeah.
And then one night they're just like, nah, and they started coming out at night, and our people were pissed, our regular customers. Yeah. And so we moved just down the street into this little alcove in front of a restaurant downtown.
Yeah, in front of, what's that, a restaurant?
What
was that?
I forget what it was at the time.
It was by a bar.
Yeah,
it was a weird.
Yeah, a weird little alcove, and it was Chomp Chomp.
Someone got shot there recently, or a couple years ago, I think.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I don't think that was a good spot, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were next. I remember one time someone punched through the plate glass window next to us too. But we were there for a while, and then the other food cart one day called the fire marshal because apparently you're not supposed to have open flames under an eave like we did. So the fire marshal shut us down.
Oh shoot! They forced you off your corner, and then they forced you out of your like little drive-by shooting hole.
Yeah, it was so stupid.
Then where'd you go after that?
Then we went behind the bars into an alley. And that wasn't very. It was behind Astro, and that's
where all the drunk guys go pee at 2 a.m.
Exactly. Yeah, it was not an ideal spot. But then the next year, I think it was the end of the summer, they just disappeared, and that was it. And then we got the corner back the next year.
So now with the lottery system, is there a way that you can like enter it earlier to never get beat out, or? No, it's always going to be a lottery.
I think, yeah. I mean, that's just what they do. But now, a lot less people have small enough. You have to have a really small footprint to be downtown, and there's just no one else doing it. Like, I don't think the hot dog guy is even out anymore.
Remember there was a meatball guy for a while. Meatballs. Remember that guy?
I forgot about that guy. Yeah, he's just selling balls.
Selling balls.
what a guy.
Yep. All right. Oh, goodness. All right. This has got to be this got to be the last one.
Okay,
all right, last freaking call. I got stuff to do. All right. What's your plans for the future? You've overcame the fake dumpling people. You've gotten into an excellent spot downtown on Galveston. By El Sancho.
Yeah. Well,
now what?
We've got the restaurant. We got 4 food carts. We figured kind of all that stuff out, but now it's wholesale is what I'm trying to do.
Wholesale.
Just I'm trying to get we've got a new product now, which is we've figured out how to make miniature dumplings. They're about the size of a golf ball.
Those.
They're delicious.
Yeah,
and they're
don't
cute.
They come in fried or?
Yeah. People love cute stuff.
It's adorable.
And people love
like
to eat
6 of
cute
them.
stuff. Yeah. So we started doing those wholesale, and those are gonna, once we figure out how to really scale up, like that's the game. So that's the next big project is getting as many stores with those as possible. So
similarly how you got into a brick and mortar so that you can support your food trucks. Now you've decided that your brick and mortar is not only supporting the food trucks, but supporting this nationwide wholesale.
Exactly.
And you're making shelf-stable sauces.
Yep.
Shelf-stable sauces.
Shelf-stable sauces.
It's hard to say.
Yeah. Hard to make.
and you're doing cute little teeny dumplings, and you're flash freezing. Are you freezing anything else, or how's that work? Your cute little tiny ones, your regular ones too?
No, we stopped doing the regular ones because we had to pre-steam those, so it was a lot of extra labor.
Oh, okay.
It was very frustrating and annoying, and people were having a hard time figuring out how to like heat them back up and stuff when they get them frozen. But the little ones are pretty easy. You know,
Can you microwave them?
you can microwave.
Do you recommend it?
It's not necessarily as good as the steaming, but you can. It still works.
All right. Sometimes I get hungry and I'm not trying to get my basket steamers going. So does the customer need to get a basket steamer?
Nope, you can use vegetable steamer. Everyone's got like some kind of steamer sitting around.
Yeah.
And then we're also, you know, we're eventually I think I'm gonna make like a little brand, and we're gonna buy bamboo steamers and sell those too, and then we'll brand them.
Oh, sweet.
And probably myself and my employees.
We're gonna make sure we get it on film.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be awesome.
All right. Well, I mean, that's pretty much it because we've been talking for so long.
Yeah.
And I'm so hyphy from this coffee.
Yeah, man.
Just jacked.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then it's been a great interview here with Dan Butters, Dump City Dumplings, Bend, Oregon. If you haven't tried it yet, try it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.